Hundreds of people here came for a recent screening of movie director Spike Lee's new documentary, If God is Willing and a Creek Don't Rise, a follow-up to his film from 4 years ago when the levees broke. One of the displaced New Orleans residents featured in both films is Phyllis Montana LeBlanc.
We've come some ways in a lot of areas, and some areas we're still lacking and we're still needing. In my living area of New Orleans East, we still don't have a hospital 5 years later.
The new mayor of New Orleans, Mitch Landrieu, admits there are still many problems, but he says the city is making a strong comeback.
The thing that people need to know about us is that we're still standing, we're still here. You know, we're unbent, we're unbowed, and I think the resilience of the people in New Orleans is going to be the thing that resonates for such a long time.
Business is brisk in the French Quarter and at other tourist attractions. The recent oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico caused a temporary dip in restaurant visits, but government inspectors say seafood from the Gulf is now safe to eat. At the New Orleans Metropolitan Convention and Visitors Bureau, Kelly Schultz says the city is still on track to reach close to pre-Katrina levels of tourist visits.
We're having a fantastic year. When the oil spill happened, we wanted to continue that fantastic year. We wanted to continue the momentum. So although there's not been any oil in New Orleans, we've worked really hard to get the message out that all of the things visitors come to enjoy in New Orleans are unaffected.
French Quarter restaurant owner and hot sauce merchant Andrew Angolio says he's seeing a strong recovery.
I do think business is really thriving in the French Quarter. I think it's doing better than it has been even before Katrina, which is wonderful. And you know, we thank all the people that are coming in from out of town. We thank all the tourists. It's really, really very, very helpful.
City planners say post-Katrina New Orleans still counts on a number of strong assets beyond its tourist attractions, including its active port and its many oil and gas operations. But there are parts of the city where recovery is much slower, where empty concrete slabs and overgrown lots mark where houses once stood. In the lower Ninth Ward, where many middle-income African Americans once lived, Katrina's destruction is still evident. Dolores Wells and her son are trying to restore and protect this home, but local criminals are making it difficult.
They broke the lock here.
Someone recently broke into her house to steal copper wiring, and she now questions why anyone would return here.
People don't come back for the same reasons I want to leave. And the main ones are corruption in government and crime, you know, street crime, drugs.
A recent poll showed crime is the #1 concern of most city residents, and many areas remain blighted. Both government and private funds support rebuilding projects here, like these flood-resistant houses. But Dolores Wells says bureaucratic delays have blocked her plans to renovate a couple of nearby houses to use as rental properties after both she and her son invested their own money.
I took some of my retirement money, which I could ill afford to do. And we thought if we could rent them out and get some income, we could do this. I am very, very discouraged. I'm really, really discouraged.
5 years after Katrina, New Orleans is a mixed picture with signs of progress as well as stories of heartbreaking struggles. Flakus, VOA News, New Orleans.